Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So as promised, I am going to be diving into Battle Angel Alita Last Order ever since I got the Omnibus. So I just recently spent this morning just kind of going through the original Battle Angel Alita series, gathering some thoughts together, kind of refreshing my memory so I could do a review before I dive into Last Order. So before we dive straight in, just a few quick notes and updates before we dive into some stuff here. So tomorrow, expect a channel update with some news about upcoming series, read-throughs and things like that, as well as some minor channel-related news stuff. Along with some minor channel-related news stuff tomorrow. So that should be out tomorrow evening with all the news you should need. So look forward to that. As well, like I said, I will be doing a Battle Angel Alita original series recap review sort of thing. So I'll do my best to get that out sometime tonight. If not by tonight, it'll be out for sure by tomorrow evening. Because I definitely want to kind of nail my thoughts on this review before I put it out to the channel. Because I really kind of want Battle Angel Alita to kind of be almost a test for a future aspect of my channel, which I'm going to do, which is kind of manga reviews and elevator pitches. So Battle Angel Alita is going to be kind of my first test in that kind of direction. So I'm going to try to take my time to do that properly. But without further ado, let us dive into Battle Angel Alita Last Order, the Omnibus Volume 1. Just a quick look at the summary as we have the lovely, deadly cyborg Alita returns in 672 pages of cyberpunk action. Alita wakes up alone in the sky city of Tefares, her brain and body reconstructed by the mad scientist Destinova. There's no time to wonder why Alita's greatest enemy would resurrect her, though the great city has been thrown into chaos by Nova's revelation that the Tefarians have had their brains replaced by biochips. Everyone needs answers, and Alita will fight to get them. And I think everyone that's already familiar with the series knows that I can't remember why the reason was for the revision, if this was the original or not, but I think in the original they were called the Tefarians and the city was called Tefares, and I think in the updated version they called it Zalem and the Zalemites. So for anyone that didn't know that, a few fans let me know that there would be that change, so I wasn't confused about why the names have suddenly changed, but just a quick FYI, I suppose. So we get into chapter 1 with the first thing I remember, and you see a gun and what looks like a robot warrior getting blown up, and you see what looks like a child Alita just getting kicked over. She falls with a thump face down into the sand, and you see is a rust-colored wasteland. As you see her looking out on this desolate space, it looks like it's been bombed to shit. Just dirt everywhere, and you see columns of smoke everywhere off in the horizon. And you have then, the next page, you have this brain floating in a jar with the hemispheres kind of bisect in the middle. Hemispheres floating off, the lower kind of areas floating below it. And you have, just look. The neurons have resumed their fire dance. Such beauty! And you see neuron nerve cell that consists of a soma cell body, dendrite signal receptors, and an axon, a signal conductor. And nanomachines are, of course, a microscopic, molecular-sized robot composed of individual elementary particles. And you see, depends on location, of course, but even if 40% of the brain tissue's total mass is lost, the neural map can be reconstructed if the rest of the neuronal protein structure is intact. Just requires a neuroanalysis of the synapse structure based on my own Karmatron dynamics theory. In such a fashion, we can almost perfectly reconstruct the brain, give it the same memories, emotions, intelligence as it had before death. In other words, we can bring back a unique human being back from so-called death. And you see, Destinova has up to his old tricks in his new lab, as you have him talking to new character, goes, Karmatron dynamics explain kinetic phenomena through the movement of karmatrons. It's the information theory you process, right, Professor Nova? I'll admit I missed this fruitcake and his frickin' souffle pudding, whatever the hell he's eating. And you see him just holding the plate as it starts to wobble, and he's like, there are so many ways to apply Karmatron dynamics. The absolute control I enjoy over these nanomachines of my own design is also derived from that theory. And you see a little bloop as he takes a spoon and just shoves it in his mouth. Like, so good! And he goes, still, the structure of this brain is fascinating. And you have his accomplice going, why is that? Dusty goes, it may look like normal brain tissue at first glance, but it's permeated with a special polymer resin instead of water. Give it a sudden shock or temperature change, and it instantly solidifies, a delightful protective mechanism, like the plastination of living tissue. And you have, I've never seen such a molecule. It could have only have been created with nanotechnology, but by whom? And you have Dusty thinking back and going, Doc, Ito dug her out of a section of the scrapyard dating back 200 years. Could it be? And he goes, there are great mysteries behind the origin of this brain. And we go back to a little child, Alita. She's scrabbling from being knocked up, and you can see she's kind of trying not to cry. And she goes, the sand tasted like rusted iron. Perhaps it had been soaked in human blood. And you see behind her this gigantic tank and some soldiers just kind of standing around. And you see one of them was cradling his gun, just boots Alita again as he knocks her over again. He goes, this brat's body's a machine. And you see, I think, one of the colonels or whoever coming out from behind the soldier, kind of just grasping his hand as he comes up and kind of gently picks up Alita. And he goes, that's a good girl. You just want to go home to your mommy and daddy, don't you? And he goes, looky there. See that wrecked spaceship out yonder? I can already tell I'm not going to like this guy. And as he continues smiling, he goes, if you can make it there, you're free as a bird. But there are bombs buried in the sand along the way. If a bad girl goes by, she blows up, kaboom! Then she's dead, like your friend there. Ugh. And you see another little smoking crater with body parts lying around it. And you see the guy just kind of patting her on the head as he goes, but you're a good girl, so you'll do fine. Now go on. And he kind of gives Alita a little pat. And she kind of just starts stumbling forward. And then she kind of collapses again on the front. And he goes, what's wrong? Get up, walk, come on. And he's trying to slowly pull herself up. She still hasn't found her balance. She falls over again. You have the soldiers laughing. Ha 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 ha! She's a cyborg, but she can't even walk. And you have the leader going, oh, brother, looks like I was wrong. Guess you are a bad girl after all. And you see him pulling out his gun as he goes, next, with a chuck. And you have, no, stop! As someone comes in and stops him firing the gun as the bullet lands next to Alita. And you see Alita looking at the hole where the bullet made. You see this blonde girl with this flowing long hair and this bandage over her eye. And she goes, her body, it isn't well, can't you see? But she can do it. I'll go with her. And you see the soldier as he just takes a big inhale of his cigar and puffs out a fume of smoke as he goes, fine, works for me. I just want to punch that smug grin off his face. And you see the other girl just kind of holding Alita and just dragging her along with her. And she goes, hi, I'm Erica. What's your name? And you see Alita kind of just looking at her going, Yoko. And she goes, I remember an awful echo in my ears. Or maybe it was just the rushing of the wind. Strangely, I wasn't afraid. Just forlorn, lost. You have baby Lee, or Yoko, I should say now, going, I want to go home. And you have the other girl going, Erica. Erica going, where is your home? And Alita's silent for a moment. She goes, my home is... And you see them coming up to the crater where the other child exploded. And they just stop for a moment. And you see a boom as there's an explosion in front of them. And you see one of the soldiers has fired his gun as he goes, don't stop, keep going. And you have Erica going, my home was burned to the ground. My mom and dad. Now she continues walking. She goes, and Hershey too. That's my dog. You ever had a dog? You have Yoko going, Erica kept talking, as if trying to forget the danger beneath our feet, but I've forgotten most of her words. And then we change back to Dusty in his laboratory again, as Dusty's watching something on a monitor, and he goes, I see that the facial formation is finishing up over here. Could the lips be a little too plump? And you see the machines working away as they're reconstructing Alita's face. And you have his accomplice going, pretty cute. And Dusty's like, but of course, this brain is XX after all. And you see these little notes saying the X and Y chromosomes determine gender. A male has an X and a Y, a female has two X's. And you have the accomplice going, oh, I see. So tell me, who is she? And you see Dusty just staring at him for a second before he smiles and he goes, Earth's most powerful warrior. And the accomplice is silent for a moment as Dusty goes, Alita. Her discoverer called her that. We don't know her real name. When she played motorball, she was the Angel of Death. And when she was a GIB agent, they called her A1. And you have the accomplice going, powerful warrior? This tiny female brain? And you have Dusty is doing his thing as he's licking his plate clean. And he goes, she considered me her enemy. Hunted me, even managed to kill me once. I'm not sure what transpired that day at the Granite Inn. My memory is reinitialized from my last backup, so my most recent data is lost. You have the accomplice going, wait, didn't you say that we're rebuilding this brain just as it was in life? Why help your enemy? And we finally get his name as Dusty goes, Roscoe, you're a young man with a lot of promise, but you're still green. The concept of enemy is a human one embedded in relationships. From the standpoint of Karmatron dynamics, there is no friend or foe. And he goes, there we are, on to the next phase. We have the initial blueprints to generate the organs necessary for life support. Latest drivers are installed, so let's... He goes, tap, begin assembly. And you see limbic system, brainstem, and cerebellum inosculate. New cerebral cortex hemispheres inosculate. And you see the brain starting to being put back together. As you have regenerating, you see a little progress for about 60%. And you have complete. Dopamine levels normal. Eyeballs inosculated. Spinal nerves reconstructed. Peripheral nerves fabricated. And you see them slowly starting to build like the skeleton of the human body. We're starting to build her nerves and muscles and the spinal column and everything else. As you have imagino cells activated. And Roscoe goes, incredible. Dusty goes, once in the scrapyard as the computer continues, forming life support systems. Dusty continues, I came across a nanotech body which seemed not of this earth. A body composed of berserker cells, that uncontrollable galactic weapon. These berserker cells were the starting point of my nanocell research, which culminated in this, Imaginos, Alita's greatest cyborg body ever. And you see now that the body's starting to be built up with skeleton and the muscles are starting to be formed as the skin's starting to come on as well. As you have weaving variable skeletal muscles. Dusty continues, the Karmatron dynamics work on the micro level has already reached perfection, but on the macro level the work is still far from complete. And you see increased muscle mass as you see her shoulders with a kafunk and a skirk. I love these muscular shoulders. As you have them going, after all, macro Karmatron dynamics theory is the very science of human destiny. Everything in this universe emits Karmatrons through its very existence. That is how all things are interconnected. And the human brain is the greatest Karmatron engine of all. You have the computer continuing, nanotubular circulatory system calibrated. And he goes, but this brain in particular, unparalleled in Karmatronic potential. Giving a body to such a brain and releasing into the world unfettered, each of her decisions and actions will bring about a dynamic exchange of Karmatrons on a massive scale. And you can see him going, now doesn't that excite you? Even if she were to kill me as a result of one of those actions, it would hardly matter. And you have Roscoe also getting into this. He goes, so you truly are amazing, Professor Nova. In all of Tefaris, I've never met an adult like you. Even if you do get killed, Professor, I swear to continue your research and complete your macro-karmatron theory. You see a Shah and a Shu as we see that they're on a base in Tafares. As we go back to Alita's flashback, where you see the two children have made it further along the path towards the ship. As you have Yoko going, and then Erica fell silent, and we both stood still. I looked back. We had traveled more than 100 steps, but we knew we couldn't go any further. We felt intuitively that we couldn't take another step safely. And you have, as Erica faltered for the first time, fear overcame me. And you see baby Yoko just starting to cry. And she goes, "Scared, Erica, I'm scared." You have Erica just having like this look of determination on her face as she goes, "If we have to die, I'd rather step on a bomb than get shot by them." And you have Yoko going, "Proud, proud Erica." And I was so young. And you have Yoko asking, "Am I gonna die? Where will I go if I die?" And you see Erica's kind of taken aback by this. Erica's expression wavered. And she kind of steels herself and she closes her eyes and goes, as Yoko goes, "I couldn't have known at the time that she too was battling loneliness and fear." And you see Erica just pointing off up at the sky and goes, "Let's just keep walking, looking up at the sky. That way I'm sure that we can go to heaven together. When we get there, we'll ask God to drop both moons on their heads. How about it?" And you see them looking up, and you see what looks like a diamond-shaped, or not a diamond-shaped, hexagonal-shaped like force field layered together above them. You see beyond that, they see two moons in the sky beyond. And you see, as Yoko's looking up one of the moons, you see the image coming clear in detail, and you see these two ships coming down. And she goes, "At first I thought that the moons really were coming down." And you see them kind of both getting pulled to the ground, Erica pulling her to the ground, as we look up and go, "I only vaguely remember what happened after that." Just an image of the two moons the two ships coming down, sorry. You have the ground shook violently. There was a flash of light. And you see someone's landed in between the soldiers. And a flurry of strikes is taking them all out as the colonel's trying to reach back for his gun and stop them. There's a flash of light. And you see the soldier, whoever it was, like grabs one of the other soldiers and holds them over their head so they get fired on. And you see the tank getting exploded. And you see them knocking the gun out of the colonel's hand. And you see them exchanging a furious flurry of blows back and forth as the other intruder grabs the colonel's gun and sticks it right in his mouth. This is one of those cases where it's just easier for me to kind of show the action rather than explain it. And you have blam blam as whoever it is blows his head off, chops his hand off. And you have, the next thing I knew, it was over. And a female warrior stood among the corpses. It was my first encounter with the Panzerkunst. And you have, just a badass spread. Oh, loving this. And then we go back to Destiny's lab. As you have charging complete, recognize active, activation confirmed. And you have Alita slowly waking up from the little kind of medbay medbay bed she's laying on. And she goes, "How long has it been since that day? And since that day, how much have I changed?" As we have phase 2, what happened. And you see her after she's off the bed, she's kind of stretching out her legs as she goes, "What is this place? Where am I? Something in the back of my mind, tingling. What is it? My instincts are trying to warn me. This scent, I know it. It's the smell of blood." And as she's heading towards the door, she sees droplets of blood next to it. And she's got her back to the wall as she's slowly just making her way around the perimeter of this hallway, following this trail of blood. Ooh. And you see the mangled corpse of Destinova, blood splatter on the wall, his guts having been completely ripped out. Half his face has been ripped off. You see Alita kind of just crouching down next to him, just kind of curiously glancing at him. As she goes, "Not me, I didn't do it. He's been dead for 4 or 5 days. What a sloppy job. Nova's head cut by my blade. Is that what? I don't remember. Must have been asleep a long time. And you're clang clong. And you hear some machinery moving. And you see this little pillar opening up. And I assume that's her Damascus blade being held inside this little storage area. And she goes, the Damascus blade. And just as she's about to try to reach for it, her fingers go through the hologram projection as one of the TVs turns on with a zzzt. And you have, Alita, you're awake. You must be wondering how it is that I'm still alive since you killed me in the Granite Inn, It was, well, that's for me to know and you to find out, my dear. Call it Nova magic if you like. Yeah. She's like, her recording. He goes, your brain is back good as new. It was blown to bits, you know. Nothing my nanotechnology couldn't repair. Even your memory should be intact. Unless your psyche has blocked some parts out. That new body of yours is my masterpiece. Created with the finest of my nanotechnology. I've dubbed it the Imaginos body. Its structure transforms at the atomic level depending on your consciousness, making an infinite number of upgrades possible. He goes, let's do a simple action test. And you see Alita just kind of bring up her hand as he goes, envision your favorite color. Go on, try. As he fished, as her arm suddenly changes color from about the elbow to her arm. He goes, there, did the color of your skin change? Bet it did. And now you can lock in the color. Commit it to body memory. And she's like, oh. As she's trying, you see the color trying to kind of go cover her entire body. And kind of just goes back to normal again as it goes, with practice even camo is possible. And Alita's like, I guess I can't do a skeleton, darn. He goes, the preliminary capacities are much the same as a berserker body in combat mode. You can use plasma too. And he goes, your sword, by the way, had extreme metal fatigue. And she's like, what? He goes, so I used it as an ingredient for the Imaginos body. I hope you don't mind. And you see her kind of changing the coloring to her original outfit again. As she looks at the hologram of the Damascus blade. And she looks back at Destiny and screams out, what gave you the right? And he goes, I assure you I haven't tinkered with your free will. Every decision is still up to you. And she's like, he expects me to believe that? And he goes, things are about to get interesting now that you're awake. Good day, Alita. He turns away with the wave as transmission cuts off. And she looks back at his mangled body and goes, what really happened here? And you see a giant Kawam. So everything starts shaking. And you see a boop as one of the access hatch doors just collapses down with a thud. And Alita looks as these three people that have fallen in. It's like, get off of me. He's like, It's like, run, it's coming. And you see a wham and a wham as something's bashing in the ceiling and it crashes through with a scratch. You see a tong and a beep boop as you have this robot that lands in the middle of the wreckage. And you have the three intruders falling back to what? And eek! And a crash. As Lita comes to step in front of them comes to kind of defend them. And one of the ones that's cowering like this looks at her. And she goes, are you alright? And I love how they've given her such pronounced back muscles in this image. It's just, love it. So of the three intruders, I'm going to call them the dude, glasses, and long hair until we get more identifiers. So dude goes, is this? And you have long hair going, the cyborg Jim was talking about? And you have Alita going, so young, not even 20. And you have the dude going, he said it was a combat cyborg. It sounded awesome. This is just a girl. Doesn't look tough at all. And you have, actually I'll call her Tukehead because he's wearing a Tuke. She's shorter than me. And you have an eep oop as the machine starts scanning Alita. And it goes, citizen code not found. Enemy. And you have long hair going, hey cyborg, beat up that robot. And you see Alita just kind of looking at her, and then she turns around and battle stands. And you have, I was taking orders from you. You see beep boop as the robot looks over to the other three. I think it's about to attack them. And Alita goes up to one of the pieces of wreckage. kicks up a piece of a pillar with her leg, and then with a thwack just sends it flying, so it hits the robot in the head. And the other three are just panning out, freaking out. As Alita takes another battle stand, she's like, alright, I'm your opponent, come on. You have a hiss as the robot starts getting in. It's like, did you see? So what's super strength? And you have, what the hell is this? You have one of its punching one of its arms at her. So Alita just kind of flips over it. What is this? As she's dodging. And you see another wham and a kish. Another one comes flying at her. And slams her into the wall. It's like, hey, no fair. It's like, you got her. And you have Alita just starting struggling, and she's grabbing. She's like, this looks strange. I'm sure I dodged it. And you have Hurts a Hayon. So you have boom. And you see, what the hell is going on? Okay, so you see things starting to vibrate. So you see the ground starting to vibrate as well. And you see these little glass canisters starting to explode. And you have the three intruders kind of covering their ears, like, what's that sound? You see room, 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 room. As the robot's just starting to quake. And you see it starting to fall apart as like nuts and bolts are starting to fall off of it. And you see it, wham! As this leg just completely explodes. And you see Alita's hands are just smoking after that. And she comes out of the hole and goes, this new body is really powerful. Both my arms were touching the wall, which dispersed the vibrations, but it was still so powerful, and yet. And you have the robot rushing her again. And you see Alita kind of doing a projection, imagined projection of her, I want to say soul, like kind of leaving her body. And she goes, again, my body won't do what I tell it to. And you have a slam as the robot slams into her again. And kind of just crashes into the wall and sends it flying out with her. And as she gets sent out flying, she kind of just grabs her hand up around a piece of dangling wire that came off. And you see she's hanging outside of the city of Tafares. She goes, so high up, where are we? See, shwoof! As you see the air just getting sucked out of the entrance that the robot just made. She goes, don't let go, it's like my ears hurt. And she's like, clouds under my feet? It's like, no, can't be. Gelda, my Panzerkunstmaster, what was it you told me? And you think back to, so you see baby Yoko again, baby Erica now with her eye fully healed, hair torn short. As Erica goes, hey, do you ever get scared, Gilda? And you see the soldiers save them going, yes I do. When the situation is more than I can grasp, well, that evokes fear in any warrior. Keep this in mind, you two. Real danger isn't facing the fiercest enemy. No, the gravest danger is being overcome by your own fear. And you have Erica going, so if we get scared, what should we do? And you have her going, even if you face something you can't comprehend, accept it. Calmly observe and secure your position. So you have Alita looking around as she's hanging out on like the underbelly of Tafares. And you have phase 3, I am not a robot. She goes, city in the sky. Tafares, absolute monarch floating high above its ash heap, the scrapyard. Not even those who live there know when or for what it was made, or by whom. And it was where I found myself. You see a whoop and a whip as Alita sends herself flying up to land on top of the robot. And she kind of just, so she sends herself flying up to flip onto the ledge where the robot's hanging. And she kind of flips around and then kicks the robot with a wham wham and sends it flying out the hole. And she goes, can I really be here in Tafares? She's like, Lou, what's become of her? And you see the long-haired girl looking at him going, well done, Cyborg. It's like, now, come with us. And you see that the shaking and shivering is like a cold, I can't breathe. And Alita's like, you have the wrong idea. Yes, I'm a cyborg, but I'm not a robot. And Longhair is like, I know that. Your brain is real, but your body's a machine, right? Like, look, I'm human. Alita's like, look, I'm human, just like you. And you have Longhair and the dude looking at each other for confused and going, it has an ego, all right, but how can it say it's human without blood flowing in its veins? And Longhair goes, okay, prove you're human. You have Alita going, prove I'm human, she says. How smug. Not the slightest doubt about herself. Alita goes, I believe that I'm human. That's proof enough. You have long hair going, what do you mean? That doesn't prove anything. And so Alita takes off, climbs up above the wreckage. And long hair's like, hey, where do you think you're going? And Alita looks back and goes, I'm under no obligation to go with you. And she goes, belief in the face of doubt, faith. That alone makes me human. And you have long hair looking at Mrs. Tew, because she goes, Pam, what's wrong? What's the matter? Hang on. There's a, what can we do? And you see them cradling her as it seems like the cold's getting to her. And as Alita looks back, she flashes back to Erica and herself as children. So she dives back down, picks up Pam in her arms and goes, probably altitude sickness from the drop in air pressure. She's got to be moved to a safe place as soon as possible. And you have long hair going, are you coming with us, Cyborg? And she goes, my name isn't Cyborg, it's Alita. And you have long hair going, I see. Well, I'm Nola Laforgue. And I'm David Frank. She's Paul Mahan. And as Alita starts climbing up the steps, on the wreckage, to the upper level, she goes, are you two sisters? And Nola goes, nah, we just met 3 days ago. It's like, I see. And you see them walking through, and you see blood splatters everywhere, corpses lying everywhere, barricades. It looks like the entire city's in complete disarray. And Alita's like, what happened here? And you see Nola just kind of reacting in shock as he's trying not to throw up. And she goes, things are bad right now. That's why we need your help. We'll tell you the details after you meet our leader. And you see them walking out to this park as you hear, hey, Nola and the others are back. And look, they brought a cyborg. And you have Nola moving apart this curtain as they head into a room going, Jim, we have the cyborg, Alita. And you have him going, hold on a sec, I'm busy. And you see this guy typing away at a computer terminal as you have all these spectators kind of looking at Nola and Alita going, wow, is it real? Does it have laser vision? I wonder what it eats. It's like, don't push. And as Alita's looking around, she goes, all kids, no grown-ups. The kids are like, eek, it sees us, quick, get down. And you have a, phew. Of course. As the guy gets away from the computer terminal, turns around, we see that it's Destiny's former accomplice, Roscoe. And he takes a swig of water as he's looking at Alita and Nola. He goes, wow, you look different from the last time I saw you in the lab. He goes, okay, listen up. Alita's a cyborg from the surface, but she has a brain, which means she's one of us. And all the kids going, ooh, she has a brain, she has a brain. And you have him giving out a handshake to Alita as he goes, my name's Jim Roscoe. And Alita kind of just brushes by him as she goes, I never said I'd join you. And Roscoe goes, I was in Professor Nova's lab when I saw him regenerate your brain with my own eyes. And Alita thinks, so, he knows Nova. Excuse me. You have the kids going, she has a brain, she has a brain. And Jim goes, I saw what's in your skull, Alita. And it's not like what's inside adult skulls here. You are one of us. And Alita thinks back to when Testy had taken the saw to his own brain and chopped off his skull and shown her the chip inside. And she goes, so you found out the secret of the Teferians? And Nola's like, it's not much of a secret these days. And you have the kids still yelling out, brain, brain! And Alita's like, yeah, so I see. And you see later that night they're all sitting around. As they go, do you feel better, Pam? And she's like, uh-huh. And Nola's like, in this 1 week, everything has changed since the word got out. Last week, Professor Nova hijacked the whole Teferian broadcast network, every single monitor. That was Jim talking, going, this was right after we rebuilt your body. Broadcasting live, he sawed open the skulls of several adults and showed us that they had biochips in place of brains. We all knew that we had to undergo an initiation to become full-fledged citizens of Tefares, but no one guessed what was really involved. At age 19, our brains are replaced with biochips, digital copies of our memories. It was MIB's dirtiest secret. Lots of adults went insane when they found out. Some rioted, some committed suicide. The MIB robots programmed to cover up the truth went on a killing spree. And Jim goes, I was in shock too, of course, so I went to the lab. You have a little author now going, initiation, a rite of passage, a ceremony someone must undergo to become a full-fledged member of a collective society. In Japan, the Seijin Shiki fulfills this role. God. And you see that Jim's holding a bloodied axe is the one that tore up Nova, and he goes and killed Professor Nova just to see. Sure enough, he had a chip in his head too. It was a huge shock. Suddenly the cloudiness, the thoughts I didn't understand, they all fell into place, and I realized what I wanted. And you see him going, here, look, as he pulls something over from inside his shirt, and you see 2 of the brain chips on a necklace around his neck as he goes, the professor's biochips. They're mine now. The second one is the backup from his stomach. And you see Alita just staring at it. She goes, give me one. And Jim's like, no. And you have, I think this is Nola going, we have 235 kids under 19 in this stronghold. Our scouts say 4,000 sane adults survive on the other side of Tafares. Jim hacked into the MIB computer to stop the flow of killer robots, but there's still a lot of assassins machines roaming around offline. 80% of all of Tafares lost in 1 week. And you have Jim kind of having an unhinged look in his eyes as he goes, but we'll clean up. Get rid of the brainless human posers and make Tafares our city, our home. And Alita asks, what became of your parents? David's like, huh? And you have Nola going, you mean our CCMs? Jim goes, guess you don't know. We all come out of MIB wombs. At birth, MIB assigns each baby to a couple who raises it. Of course, they're not related by blood. This family is called a CCU. Each parent is a CCM. We have CCM as Child Care Manager and CCU as Child Care Unit. And Jim continues, no DNA binds us, but if it did, I'd still say kill them all. And you see Alita standing up as she goes, there's someone I have to look for. She's Teferian. Her brain was swapped out for a biochip, but she broke Teferian rules to save my life. Whether the brain is organic or a biochip, that doesn't prove someone's human. Not to me. You see Pam looking at him in surprise as Nola goes, then what does it mean to be human? Jim's like, yes, I'd like to hear your opinion. What should we believe? Alita's just looking at them and she goes, do these children understand how easily one can become a puppet or a beast even with a flesh and blood brain? When you turn your back on doubt and conflict, you lose yourself. Do they know that to be human means nothing more than to be in a state of constant upheaval? Oh, I love that. And as Alita's parting the curtains to walk outside, she goes, it's not my place to tell you. You'll have to find an answer you can live with. And she's going exploring through the city. As she goes, Tafares never made sense to begin with. But these poor mixed up kids, what's going to happen to them now? Guess it's got nothing to do with me. And you hear, wait up! And you see Nola and Pam running behind her out of breath. As Alita goes, no use trying to stop me. And as they're catching their breath, Nola's like, that's not why. It's like, Jim told me to be your guide. And then she looks back and goes, me, not you, Pam. And Pam's like, oh, but... And you have David and Jim back at the headquarters as David goes, are you sure about this? And you have Jim just casually chewing on some popcorn as he tosses the kernel up into his mouth. And he goes, her decision not to join us wasn't in my calculations, but we still hold the trump card. David goes, that's not what I meant, Jim. Maybe I should go too. Is it Nola in danger? And you have Jim going, the more danger, the better. I can see Alita has a strong sense of duty. As long as she's trying to protect Nola, she won't join forces with our enemy. On the other hand, if Nola does die, then Alita's failure to protect her will make her feel indebted to us. And you can see David's just looking at him like this man is seriously unhinged. And he's starting to get a little bit afraid of him as he goes, he can't be serious. And you see Jim going, tomorrow we approach the MIB Medical Corps. My precious monster is about to be born. As we get to Phase 4, Thinking of You, we go back to Destiny Nova going, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the theater Theater of the Truth. And you see a bunch of people just falling off these platforms and smashing into the ground as Nola's having this psychedelic looking dream. And you see her just like running through a river of blood as she goes back to her house. And you see the river just pouring and she goes, "Mom, Dad!" And she screams no, and she sees her parents kind of hugging each other. Their bodies stripped to skeletons. And she wakes up, as she wakes up the next morning, you can see tears streaming down her face. She goes, "Oh no, it's like tears, like that dream again. I have to forget." And you see her wandering around trying to find Alita. And you see Alita with her knees drawn up to her looking out the window. And as Nola's watching her, she sees tears streaming out of Alita's face as well. And she's taken aback by this. She goes, "Huh? What? The cyborg's crying too? Why would she?" And you see Alita caught off guard as she sees Nola and goes, "Oh," and she wipes away her tears and goes, "You're awake." And you have Nola going, "Good morning, Alita." And she stretches and yawns and pretends like she just woke up. And Alita's like, "Let's have breakfast then." Nola goes, "I wasn't supposed to see that," as you see her heart thumping. And as they're eating breakfast, Alita goes, "I looked around while you were asleep, scrounged up some food. This place may be in ruins, but the grub's still fresh." It's like, "Aren't you going to have some, Alita?" And he's like, "Nah, a little chocolate will do. That's enough to supply glucose to my brain." You have Pam going, "I want candy too." And Nola's like, "You have to eat real food, Pam." You see Alita looking out at the sun, just kind of kissing the clouds. She goes, "What a view. And to think Teferians get to see this every day of their lives." And you have Nola kind of going, "Oh, now I get it. Those tears. She was moved by the beauty of the view." Alita has a sentimental side to her. And as Alita's still looking out the window, she goes, "Long ago, there was someone I wanted to show this view to. If he had known," it's like, oh, what really went on in Tefares. You see as Nola's completely taken aback by Alita kind of being all poignant and sentimental. As Pam goes, "Earth to Nola." Nola's thinking to herself, she's probably seen things we've never heard of and been through unimaginable joy and sorrow. I want to know more about her. You see Medical Expansion Bureau core block as Jim's messing around and goes, "All right, that takes care of the security lock. So let's go." He's like, "Wait." And you see one of the men as he's running through past this line that's been carved into the ground. See a bunch of spikes going and cutting through him with a gap. And Jim's like, "I was like, sorry, still a few self-contained booby traps. Watch your step." And you have the man with him going, "You gotta work with us, Jim." It's like, "Whoa, look at all the MIB machines. This factory's completely automated." It's like, "But the tech level is still fairly crude. The section of pursuits produces nanomachines and brain biochips is deeper in." And you have Jim going, "That's where my monster is waiting to be born." It's like, David goes, "I know the plan is to take over the MIB system, but how?" And Jim's like, "I don't know yet. There's a lot that's still unclear about Malachi, the central electronic brain that controls the system core. That's why I need to check it out in person." It's like, I was like, stuck outside like a watchdog. And you see two of the guards standing outside. And you see one of them kind of just leaning up on the wall with his hands behind his head, and one's sitting down. And you see a thunk as a spear comes flying out and takes the one standing up through the heart. "Do you have an eek?" It's like, "Jimbo!" And you see Jim looking back, and you see this group, ragtag group of, I assume the adults, showing up with a hostage going, "Jim, Jim, Jim, what the heck are you doing here? This is no place for minors." And you have the guards that go, "Grown-ups, damn, they've got Harry." It's like, "So, you're alive. Isn't it obvious? We're breaking into the MIB core, same as you." And you have the man going, "Oh, Jim, Jimmy boy, don't lump us in with subversive elements like you and your buddies. We're here to restore law and order to Tefares, to get MIB back up and running." And you're, "That's nuts. You do that and you'll be killed too, since you know about the brain chips." And he's like, "Sure, we'll have to modify the program. Tell them about the situation we're in." One of the other adults goes, "It's true, there were many sacrifices made in exposing the secret of Tefares. but it was an unavoidable selection process. Another one goes, the surviving adults are those who have overcome the test of truth, the strongest ones, the chosen ones. And you have the big muscular one going, the fact that our brains are biochips is proof that we belong to a higher order than run-of-the-mill humans. We'll do more than restore Tafaris. We'll make it stronger, more beautiful. And he goes, and we'll suck the brains out of unruly brats. Every last one. So he grabs the hostages by the back of the head, and he rushes for her and throws her. So it goes, a fitting snack for the surface-dwelling pigs. Ha ha ha! And you have a whoa and a hurry! As it lands with a swap on the end. And he goes, God, what the hell was his name? I wanted to forget. Give me a second here. Oh yeah, David. David goes, you know him? Jim was like, yeah. It's like, meet Casey Roscoe. My CCM. Oh boy. I guess that explains partly why Jim is so fucked up. You have a perfect spot. Like, let's rest a little here. Like, is this a theater? Just level of detail in how they rendered that theater there. And yeah, that's right. As Nola kind of takes off her shoes and tosses it to Lita, and she gets up on stage and goes, I always dreamed of being on this stage. And she does a little ballet pirouette. As Pam's like, wow, Nola. And Lita's like, nice. It's like, oh. Nola goes, I wonder if these seats will ever be filled with people again. And as they're sitting on the edge, Nola goes, Alita. Alita puts up a hand to stop her. And it's like, huh? Nola's like, oh no, how could she turn on me so quickly? Does she hate me now? And Alita gets up and she goes, stay back. And I was like, Nola. I was like, huh? What? Like, who's there? And you see a cloaked figure kind of coming out from behind the curtains. As Alita goes, probably not a friend. She goes, that smell, the squeak of joints. Not flesh and blood, but here at Tafari's. And you see whoever it was is just kind of wrapped up in a cloak. And you see they've got a robotic arm, but you can't really make out any other identifying features. As they go, I'm glad to see you. It was worth coming all the way to Tafari's. And Alita's like, that voice. And she goes, you! As they both rush towards each other, the thwack and a screck. And they exchange blows and separate. And you see that whoever it is, they lost the covering comes off and gets shredded. And as they're watching, I was like, what the? Alita's like, it's grazed my cheek. Say, flap and a toomph. And you see one of the tuned AR series looking worse for the wear. Looks like they've rebuilt themselves with parts from other bots. It's the number 6 one. Goes, that was just my way of saying hello. And Alita goes, one of the tuned AR series too. So, some of them are still alive. And Noel's like, who? And Pam's like, is she your sister? And Alita's like, not exactly. And AR6 goes, I'm not AR6. My name is Sex. You will call me Sex. You have tuned AR series 2. 12 androids created by GIB based on Alita's battle data when she was tuned. See Battle Angel Alita number 44. And Zex is German for 6. And you have Zex going, it's been a year since GIB got wiped out. A year spent thinking of you. Alita's like, a whole year? Have I really been asleep that long? She's like, figure 4. He's like, I'm sorry. And you see Zex kind of taking a fighting stance as they go, fight me, original model. And Alita just kind of crosses her arms and turns away and goes, go away. I don't have time to play with a replica. You have Zex going, that's awful cold. As she pulls out a giant blade from behind her back with a whoosh and a chuck as you have Titan Blade. Just, again, epic looking panel. As Alita looks at it and Zex goes, you like it? Pretty color, eh? This Titan Blade is manufactured of crystallized titanium. It never rusts and boasts superior durability and pliability. And it's electroplated, the finishing touch. Zex goes, I'd hope to cross swords with your legendary Damascus blade. And as Zex takes battle stance, like, what's wrong? Did you lose your favorite toy? Alita's like, Titan Blade, huh? It's like, damn. as she turns around, she's like, I want one! And Zex is like, looks like I got your attention. As he rushes forward, swinging the Titan blade around. He goes, and after I defeat you, I'll be the real one. And you see Zex is driving Alita back to whack and a swing and an eek as you see Nola and Pam taking cover. And you see Alita just dodging and dodging around as they're fighting. And you see them exchanging blows. And Zex kind of just swings the blade, trying to cut Alita in the middle. And Alita just kind of grabs it with two of her fingers, the schwacht, and stops it. And Zex uses it as a pivot to pivot around and basically slam into Alita with her leg and send Alita flying. What the hell happens next? Now as it happens, Zex is trying to fly towards her again. And she cuts Alita, as she's flipping, she cuts Alita on the shoulder. And as Alita stops the blow, she's like, it's so sharp. It's like this replica's totally different from the ones I fought before. And you have, what's the matter, original? I'm just getting started. And as her face off, you have, oh my god. Of course, you have bravo! And a clap claps like, I was like, that guy, is he? And Alita, unsurprised, goes, you just never quit. So you've been pulling the strings all along. And you have that undead motherfucker, Destiny Nova, standing there going, such vicious slander. I'm a mere spectator, my dear. As we get into phase 5, Destiny goes, I brought these children up from the surface to be my bodyguards. They insisted on meeting you. And you see a very feminine looking model of Alita. So one goes, I'm Swolf and I'm Elf. So 11 and 12 in German. We have Kimpo and Kimpi as they're like, pleasure to meet you. And you have Deckman 100 as you have, Master, oh Master. And Zex goes, you get to watch them. I will defeat the original, you'll see. And Zex kind of just leans over, takes a fighting stance with a Titan blade behind their back. As they leap towards Alita, Alita's like, now I'm getting pissed off. And you see them exchanging some more blows with a schwupp. As Alita's just barely dodging the Titan blade, and she goes, feels like I'm going to pop out of my skin. I can't reach top speed. And you have Elf and Swolf going, the original's moves are rather boring. Is it due to the period of inactivity? It's like maybe the body isn't functioning well. And you have Destiny going, not a chance. This Imaginos body can't possibly malfunction mechanically. And there were no abnormalities in the post-assembly check. And Swolf goes, it's amazing how she anticipates and dodges all of Zex's moves though. And you have Elf going, but Zex hasn't gotten serious yet. And you know, see, I should have known the heir to the original Panzerkunst will be able to see right through moves from the same style. And you have Pam going, what happens to us if Alita loses? Noel's like, sheesh, don't jinx it, Pam. And she thinks to herself, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want you to die, Alita. There's still too much I want you to teach me. And you have Destiny going, about a year ago when the GIB was wiped out, 10 copies of you were left on the surface. The tuned AR Series 2. The AR-6 Zex found her raison d'etre in battle and challenged the others, defeating them all except for AR-11 and AR-12 here. And Destiny goes, Zex keeps fighting without a reason, living life in its primitive form, just as you once did, am I right? And you have Alita getting angry. She goes, Zex is not like me. She looks at Zex and goes, do you really think that if you win, you, a mere replica, can replace me? And Zex goes, no more pointless blathering, Professor. Don't get the wrong idea. To become real isn't to replace you, Alita. Why am I here in this world? Because GIV created me? No, that's not the answer. If I can take down the all-powerful original, then I've earned the right to exist as myself, as a real warrior. Loving Zex already. And Destiny goes, there's one thing you should know. The solid-state brains of the AR series are biochips, just like the Teferian's brains. I'm fairly sure not even Bureau Chief Bigot knew that, though. It's like, yeah! And he was like, what? And you see, as we go back to... God damn, what the hell was the big chunky guy's name? Oh, Casey. I don't think I've ever seen a character like Casey where, as you see the battle going around him between his forces and Jim's, you have Casey just with these two handbells, just barbells, just lifting some weights casually in the background. And one of the kids goes, "You bastard!" as he's leaping towards him. And Casey just deflects it with his barbell, the clong. He's like, it's like scrawny. He's like, "You're all too scrawny. You ought to play some sports." And he just smashes the barbell into the kid's head and smashes it. And David's like, "Jim, this is bad." And Jim's like, "A bit more, just a sec. Give me a little more time." And you see, Dave just starting to fire back as Casey's forces are coming. He's like, "Stay back!" Blam, blam, blam. And one of them throws one of the sharpened pipes at him with a skish and takes David right through the chest. He's like, "No!" And you see the rest of them rushing forward, and Jim's like, "Just a little more." And you see Gwimp as Casey puts a hand on him. He pulls out a knife and he goes, "Time's up." And you see all of Jim's forces are dead. And Casey's forces have taken over. And Jim looks down at Dave who's been completely speared through. He goes, "Now you've done it." And Casey just throws the knife into Jim's leg. He's like, "Ah!" And Casey goes, "You got some useful skills, so I won't kill you right away. So give me an axe. But I will cut off your toes so you can't run away." And Jerry, "Hold him down." Yeah, Casey's kind of grabbing his computer, and he slips over to the side, down a shaft. And he's like, "Hey!" He's like, "Oh, he fell down the crack." He's like, "Get him!" And we get back to Alita and Zex's fight. As Zex is like, "It's time to get serious." As Zex crouches, launches, and starts acrobating around. And he's like, "What are these moves? I can't predict them." And you have Swolfcoin has nothing in common with Panzerkunst. Zex created this fighting style independently after a year of battle experience. It's called Zexter Angriff. And you see, as Zex is acrobating around, it cuts off Alita's arm right here. And you see an eek from Noel and Pam. And Zex is like, "Haha, now die." Oh boy. And Alita just grabs her hand and just grabs her hand, goes, "Don't get cocky," and just slams Zex across the face. Then she whirls her arm around like a nunchuck and skabam, just slams Zex down into the ground. For anyone that's seen Futurama in the episode with Zoidberg and Fry doing claw pluck, this reminds you of that exact moment. Fry's using his arm like a cudgel. Oh, it's great. And Lady kind of just gracefully lands on a chair with a swoop, and she's like, "Huh?" And she kind of backs off with a whoomp onto the stage. And you have Zwolf and Elf kind of pincering her from both sides. As Elf goes, "You let Zex sever your arm so you could use it as a weapon." And Zwolf is like, "Sweet, they don't call you original for nothing." And you have a swoop. And Zwolf makes a swift motion with her arm. And you see Alita's arm just get sliced into bits. And she's like, "Monomolecular wire." And yeah, "Watch your step there, original. Losing that arm messed up your balance. It'll be tough to escape with your body like that." And you see a bunch of wires just kind of forming a barrier around Alita. And you have monomolecular wire, tuned standard issue equipment, 2 microns thick with a tensile strength of 2.4 tons. This wire is one long cylindrical molecule held together by the powerful covalent bond between atoms. And you have Zex picking themselves up, leaning on the spear and going, "You guys stay out of this." And it's like, "Since when do you do anything but retreat?" And you have Elf going, "Normally we don't like to fight, but if victory's guaranteed, we'll make an exception." And Sol's like, "That's why we've contained the original, so you can blast her with your solenoid quench gun." And Zex is like, "I don't like this, but what the heck." He's Zex holding up the arm as it starts to part, and you see it turning into a gun, and Zex kind of slams the magazine in and goes, "This is a 22 caliber superconducting phase transition gun. Small caliber, but you know how powerful it is. An ultra supersonic bullet is damn hard to dodge, baby." You have Destiny going, "Oh my. That precious Imaginos body, it's about to turn into scrap." And you have 100 go, "Master." Alita's just completely unfazed as she goes, You idiots. You think this is all it takes to contain me? And you have Zex going, heh, rest in peace. As it fires. And Alita just goes, slams down, and brings up a piece of board as a barrier in front of her. And he's like, what? It's like she ripped out the floor, and she shwoom. As the bullet gets fired, it smashes through the barrier and out of the city. And you see Zex leaping on, going, down there! And just kind of stabbing into the ground. And you see him heading towards Desti. And stopping right before, with an ee! As you see Alita's... You see that Alita camouflaged and ran over to Desti and is now holding him hostage. As Zex goes, Professor, you'll come right back to life anyway. So you don't mind if I kill you now, do you? As we get to phase 6, turn the TV off. Now we have Alita going, you've got a good bodyguard, Nova. You have Nova just starting to sweat. He goes, Alita, Zex, listen to me. I don't matter, but this F-box, it contains the most precious substance in the world. Alita's like, so F is for flan? And Desti's like, let's not be hasty. It's like, nope, not flan at all. And you see Elf and Swolf just kind of slowly leaping over the chairs, getting closer. As Elf goes, wait, let's see what they'll do. And as Wolf goes, at this distance, Zex doesn't have enough space to thrust forward with Zexus to Angriff. Excuse me. Elf goes, there's no room to ready the solenoid quench gun either, nor time to undo the weapons conversion. It's a close match, but Zex could actually lose. You see a weapon attack as you see Testy getting kicked over and just starting to swirl around with an eek. And you see Zex just launch the Titan Blade at Alita, who just kind of slaps it aside. And you see a twack as he tries to kick at Zex. And you see them exchanging a flurry of blows. And you see Alita deflecting the titanium blade again. And you see as Desti's just losing it. As he's being manhandled and thrown around in a little circle. And you see some more acrobatics as Alita and Zex continue to exchange blows. And you see Alita blocks Zex's... it blocks the hilt of Zex's blade with one hand. And then grabs... It was almost like a palm thrust to Zex's abdomen. And then she's like, hurts Heona. You see Alita starting to do the vibration with a twack as Zex gets sent. As Zex, I think, leaps backwards with a swirl. And Alita's like, speedy reflexes. Zex's like, whew, that was close. And Zex is like, you're good at trapping as expected. But I've defeated your Hertz Aeon. And you have Swolf going, yay, that's enough room to use Zex to Angriff. It's like, this original's not going to get a chance like that again. You see Zex kind of sort of reconfigures the arm back into an arm again. Goes, thank you, Alita. It was fun. You see, trapping is a close-range technique used to counter an opponent's defensive moves, rooted in Chinese Kung Fu and the Philippine martial art Kali. And Zex gets ready and goes, but this is the end. As the crouches in with the blade again, you see Zex starting to steam. As Elf goes, why isn't Zex moving? You see a blam! Oh, dang. See Zex start steaming, and then explodes the blam. Zex like, it can't be. Oh, sure I evaded the Hertz a hand. Alita's like, if it were the Hertz a hand for my tune days, you would have. But this Imaginos body, its power is in a different class altogether. Alita just kind of clenches her fist and goes, the lightest touch was enough. And then Alita kind of looks off to the side and goes, well, are you two next? And Elf and Wolf kind of just hug each other and go, next? Or what? It's like, I have no idea what you mean. And you have Zex going, damn it, this isn't right. My abilities clearly surpass yours. How did you win? And then Alita goes, do you have any memories of Mars? And Zex is like, what? And Alita goes, you know, only the immature Panzerkunst, the one from my past. But I've met masters far stronger than I am now. That's what made the difference. And she goes, but your Shyster Angriff? Pretty good. Could use work on your defense, though. And Zex get mad as they go, are you going to lecture me? And he's like, no, you're not my shadow anymore. Try living free. You see back with Casey and his goons. What the hell? Looks like their brains have started to melt, and you see it just kind of dribbling out. As you see Jim just kind of pulling himself against the wall slowly. He goes, they're all idiots, David and the others. They couldn't even do a decent job of buying me time. Useless fools. And you see whack whack. As Casey and his men are walking down the corridor just rapping on the walls. Goes, who knew killing would be so much fun? Compared to this, how can we even call our previous lives living? This is the privilege of being truly human. What do you think? Should we legalize blood sports in the new Tafaris? Another man goes, oh, good idea. Mother Machine will spit out the brats and we'll hunt them down. A dream come true. And you see Jim's finally made his way into this very matrixy looking room. Oh, I think it's the embryo factory. He goes, this place, it's the factory where I was born. He kind of just puts his hand on one of the containment units and goes, little ones, the outside world's a terrible place. It's better not to be born. As he heads deeper inside, he goes, this is the DNA organ. These keys combine the codons in sequence, and that information is used to create a fertilized egg cell, the tiniest start of a human. Once upon a time, only God was allowed to play it. So who's playing it now? It was the DNA data bank. It's like, I see. You see a codon is a triplet code of 3 adjacent nucleotides in the basic unit of the genetic code. There are 64 such sequences in all. And he goes, it's all here. Data for everyone born in Tafaris the past 2 centuries, from birth to death. Physical characteristics, intelligence, disposition, personality, talents, social adaptability, even inclination to criminal behavior. This database can predict what kind of person will be born according to their genetic sequence and then correlates the actual results. He goes, they thought of everything, even periodically adding a surface dweller to maintain the gene pool's diversity. That means even I have surface dweller DNA? He goes, but why? As he takes out Dusty's 2 brain chips, he goes, were the birds of intellectual heretics like Professor Nova and me nothing more than errors? That mistake has brought the fairies down to the point of ruin. He goes, maybe I can find the professor's DNA history. He goes, what the hell? And you see back with Dusty, he goes, looks like the battle has been decided. Happy now, Zex? And you see Alpha and Swolf kind of helping Zex to their feet. And Alita goes, that corpse in the lab, was that a fake you? And you have Dusty going, no, that was the real me, all the way, you see. When I returned to Tafaris, the first thing I did was to perfect my backup technique. My discovery of codification technology and application of Karmatron theory allowed me to store my body's compositional data in the molecular motion of the atmosphere, where I could retrieve it at any time. You have molecular motion, although it appears to be random noise, atomic level movement can contain information. Sorted and codified, an infinite variety of signals could be extracted. And Dusty goes, when the Nova body dies, the nanomachine network in the atmosphere is immediately activated, constructing a precise duplicate exactly as I was. In other words, I have become the closest thing to immortal in all of human history. And Lee's like, I'm the biggest jerk. Do you think I've forgotten what you've done on the surface? And Dusty goes, I wouldn't want you to. That's what I call free will. And he goes, okay, we're off. Quick tour of the medical core before we reach the orbital elevator, and then it's on to Space City Cathares. Would you care to join us? And Alita's just staring at him in surprise. She goes, join you? In space? My home is in space. Mars. It's like, I want to see them, Gelda and Erica, and she goes, and then I'll know if my memories are complete. And she closes her eyes and she composes herself and she goes, no, I have to find my friend. Dusty goes, then we'll go on ahead to the medical core. If you change your mind, come along anytime. Ladder has been awaiting me for decades. A few more days won't hurt. And you see whoosh as Nola and Fans kind of look around and they run towards going, Alita, I'm so glad you're alive. So I was so scared you'd die. And Pam's like, doesn't your arm hurt? Alita's just all proud. He's like, yeah, that little scuffle, piece of cake. He's like, how was that a piece of cake? She lost an arm. And they're both like, wow, she's stubborn. And you have Hunter going, Master. And they're like, eek, what's that? And you have Alita going, I'm sorry, your master left already. And it goes, that doesn't matter. You have Desk goes like, Deckman 100 goes, Deckman 100 was specially remodeled by Professor Nova just to be Master Oida's servant. Oh God, he's speaking in baby talk. Please let me serve you. You have Deckman 100 specs, base Deckman 10 line, head Deckman brain and lust circuit, comes with expandable memory, personality type B, basic command crazy about Alita, expansion bus DUV version 32.4, factory control discontinued standalone, energy Nova MD engine with built-in backup batteries, note broadly compatible with outer space. And Alita's just like, you sure you're not just a spy for Nova? And Deckman's just like, and then it's like, what are you? Because it's just freaking out. Just, oh my God. Deckman gets himself ready to build a little noose. He can't believe Alita doesn't trust him. And Nolan and Pam are like, Alita, don't be mean. It's kind of cute up close. Like, let's take him with us. Deckman's like, I'm equipped with spare imaginos body cells and a complete maintenance system. I will repair your arm. And he's like, might as well argue with a crying child. You see, hey, looky there. And you see Casey and his men are going around. You see Jim standing above on one of the walkways above them. And Casey goes, tired of playing hide and seek, Jim? Jim's like, it's like, I know the truth now about Tafaris, and I see this world is a trash heap, and humans are maggots writhing on it. Now I know for sure, so he goes, all of you, die! And we see a crash. Something's just smashing through Casey's men and kind of sending him flying. He looks back and shocks like, what? He's like, yeah, it was like blam, 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 blam. And they take off running, they're trying to vault over. It's like an eek! As one of them gets grabbed up, and Casey's looking up. Oh, what the hell? And you see this giant Titanic robot just grabbing them and crushing them in its arms with a growler. As Jim goes, Sachimoto, my precious monster, arise. He goes, you were supposed to be the children's guardian angel, but now you'll become the devil that destroys this world. You see a foo and thunk. His arrow gets in flying and takes Jim right through the throat. And he goes, did you get him? Was it fucking sick? It wasn't like Professor Roscoe or something. Lou's boss from the MIB. He's on Casey's side. He's got a bow and arrow. And you have like turning off the TV, put an end to this pathetic world. As you see Casey just kind of falling off the platform to his death. As we have Phase 7, the world is cruel. And I'll probably cut off the first part of this read through here because we're already well over an hour at this point. So, oh boy, what do I say about my thoughts? I probably won't do a full volume review just until I get through the entire omnibus, just because I think it'd be better once I get through all this and I have a better idea of what the overreaching story is. I think I'll be able to give a better review then. But so far, I'm already enjoying Last Order a lot more than I did the original series. Like, my enjoyment level is way up there for what it is. Part of that might just be because of how fast-paced Last Order has been so far. Like, we're getting thrown right into the central conflict right away. We're getting a lot of Alita backstory, which I'm really looking forward to diving in more and getting more details on. And I'm kind of loving that aspect so far. I'm also loving so far kind of the philosophical musings on, you know, what defines humanity and what makes humans so far that we're getting hints and discussion about so far right now. So I'm also looking forward to seeing where that is going. Apart from that, I wasn't sure about Zex when they first showed up because I was just like, alright, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this character, but in very short order, I think Zex has become one of my favorite characters. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with them going forward. And now this is where we kind of get into a little bit of spoiler territory. Because I've had friends that have gone through Last Order before, and I've heard Zex's name be mentioned before. I'm not sure if this is me just kind of lumping together different bits of information, or if I'm wrong about something else, or things like that. Because I know there is a transgender character that's introduced in Last Order, and my mind says that it was Zex, which is kind of why I've been struggling a little bit. I was trying to nail the pronouns for them thus far, because both Desti and the others refer to Zex as a she thus far. But I don't know if that's going to be just set up for the reveal later and they're just misgendering and dead naming her right now. If anyone has clarification on that, that would be appreciated. What I might do as a temporary just kind of stopgap measure until I get to that specific reveal is just refer to Zex using they, them pronouns, just to make it a little bit easier until we get to that reveal and we get confirmation one way or another. But apart from that, really enjoying Last Order so far. I know there's gonna be a lot to cover. It's good to see Dusty back, even though he's a reprehensible piece of shit. He is very, very entertaining, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm interested in kind of seeing what the hell Jim found out about him, what his backstory are, and what his whole deal is. I'm looking forward to Alita going to Mars, learning more about who she is. But yeah, we'll see what Last Order is like. And like I said, I will hopefully have the Alita original series volume review either out late tonight or hopefully at latest by tomorrow evening. So look forward to that. Like always, if you like my channel, please do like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, or recommend it to anyone you know that you think might enjoy my content as well. Till next time, this is Ash. I will talk to you all later.